Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Turfway Park here on Saturday. It's the 14th of March 2020. Gonna look at all the stakes races here on Turfway's program, including the Jeff Ruby Stakes. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kid 5 for more selections for race courses around the world, and also check out my Rebel Stakes preview video from Oaklawn. But it's a good card from Turfway today. We'll look at all the stakes races 6 through 11. So we have a lot of action to get to. Let's get to the sixth race right now, which is the Mayor Electric Company Animal Kingdom Stakes per $75,000 races for 3-year-olds here. We have 9 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 1,300 meters, or the distance of ground of 6.5 furlongs on the main track. 1,300 meters, 6.5 furlongs, main track here in the Animal Kingdom. And I show the diagram. It just gives me a second to look down my notes. Just bear with me, especially on these big days. I have a lot of notes. I go through, lately it seems like I'm going through a bunch of these mini legal pads. But with that being said, moving over here. With that being said, my top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 6 horse, Torres Del Paine. I'm going to go 6-3-1-4 in the superfecta, 6-3-1-4 super. Top selection, 6 horse, Torres Del Paine. This 3-year-old colt by Caracanite here. Grand Motion trains. Album Jimenez gets to mount. Album Jimenez having a great Turfway meeting. But the horse's most recent outing came up in Canada on the 27th of October at Woodbine, mile 16th in the Grade 3 Gray Stakes. He finished 4th by 3 3/4 lengths there. He stalked from a wide post. He just couldn't get the turn of foot that he wanted, but I didn't think he ran half bad. Before that, in Laurel Futurity at Laurel Park, mile 16th on the 21st September on the lawn, he finished second by a head, and he stalked all the way around the race course. He wanted to go, but the rider Hamilton had a firm grip on him, but he was drifting in the lane. He just couldn't keep the great momentum late, but it wasn't a world's worst race for him. And then the Rosie Stakes at Colonial, 5.5 on the outer turf course. He finished 3rd by 4 3/4 lengths. The horses in front of him were just a little bit too fast. He couldn't keep up with them there until very late when he was picking up some small pieces. He's had better races, and then they took the horse to the dirt. Throw that race out in the Rook Violetta at Saratoga, 6 furlongs on the soppy dirt. He finished 5th by 13 3/4 lengths, and he had nothing. His debut at Laurel going 5.5 on the lawn. He won very nicely, though. If there's going to be a horse picking up the pieces late, I think it's going to be him. So definitely use him in the multi-race. Another horse to use in the multi-race would be the 3 horse, My Man Flintstone. He's cutting. They took the horse rounding last time out in the John Battaglia, where he just didn't really run a good race. Cutting back to 6.5. It's really in his wheelhouse. I think at 7-2, you most definitely have to use him on your multi-race also. But to recount my selection now for the 6 from Turfway, it's the Animal Kingdom Stakes. As a top selection, we'll take the 6 horse Torres Del Paine. We'll go 6-3-1-4 in the superfecta. We'll go 6-3 in the multi-race. Let's get to racing. The 7th race from Turfway, it's the Latonia Stakes, purse $100,000, race for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 12 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or 1 lap around the all-weather poly track, which is 1 mile in circumference. 1,600 meters, 1 mile, poly track. The top selection here in the Latonia, I'm going to go with the number 10 horse. The number 10 horse, who is Miss Mosaic. We'll go 10-9-4-2 in the superfecta, 10-9-4-2 super. Top selection 10 horse, Miss Mosaic. This 4-year-old filly by Verrazano. Ben Colebrook trains. Chris Landeros gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came the 15th of February here at Turfway, 1 mile in allowance race, 30,000. And the horse finished 2nd by 4 lengths. He just stalked all the way around the race course. Couldn't catch Rue 2, who just ran a terrific race, basically, that day. Almost on the front end all throughout, was on the front end all throughout. This horse just couldn't get to him. Why run the horse for a $30,000 purse and kill him when you could wait a few weeks and run him for the $100,000 purse? I think today he'll get a lot better run in the competitive pace to run with. Before that, he ran the 11th of January Turfway, 1 mile in the main special weight, 46,000. It took him 3 starts to break the main, but she finally broke it, winning by 3 3/4 lengths. She stalked, she got the lead, and then she just took off here. A 68 buyer, that was a very good victory. And then before that, Turfway, mile 16th in December in a main special weight, 45,000. She finished 2nd by half length from a wide post draw. She didn't have the best of starts going into the turn, but she recovered. She had to lead for a split portion, got caught right before the wire, but she still ran a terrific race there. She's been training well at Keeneland. I'm going to give her a shot here at 12-1. The 9-horse Harmless also you have to give a shot to. Kendra Caramouche comes in to ride this one from New York, but this horse is normally based at Santa Anita. His most recent outing came the 2nd of February, Santa Anita, mile and eighth and off 6-2, where the horse finished third by length. Basically got sent in the front and all throughout. Got stalked, it got caught in the stretch run, but still ran a terrific race. Before that, against a little bit tougher competition in the Bobby Frankel, he finished 8th, but before that won at Del Mar very nicely. This horse is going to be sent with Kendra Caramouche. Now, Kendra Caramouche is a good indicator of a speed kind of rider. He might just slow it down on the front, and if he does that, it wouldn't surprise me if this horse goes wire to wire with a slow fractions. We'll use this horse also on the multi-race, but to recap my selection now for the 7th from Turfway, it's the Latonia. Let's take the 10-horse Miss Mosaic as a top selection. We'll go 10-9, 4-2 in the superfecta, 10-9 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 8th event. Race number 8, it is the Rushaway Stakes, purse $100,000, race for 3-year-olds here. We have a field of 8 horses going to the poly track, the distance of the ground of 1,700 meters, with a mile and 1/16th trip on the poly track. 1,700 meters, mile 1/16th. These are the horses that are just not quite ready for prime time in the Spiral or the Jeff Ruby Stakes. The top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 4 horse, Uncork the Bottle. I'm going to go 4-1-8-7 in the superfecta, 4-1-8-7 super. Top selection, the 4 horse, Uncork the Bottle. The 3-year-old colt by Colonel John. Safi Joseph trains one. Edgar Zayas comes in for the mounts. The horse is most recent out given 17th of February at Gulfstream, 1 mile in the starter stakes, and he finished second by 3.5 lengths there. He sat back early. He had a great turn of foot late. He just couldn't get to the winner, but he still ran a respectable race. His turf races have been a lot better run than his dirt races, especially in the past. Especially his most recent dirt race, which came in the Grade 3 Holy Bull at Gulfstream Park, mile 16th, February the 1st. He ran absolute crap, finished 6 by 23.25 lengths, and had nothing done early on. It wasn't the day to win, and then before that at Tampa, a mile and off, so 40. The horse won by length. He sat back early, had a great turn of foot, a little bumping, but he still got the job done. Like I said, I like his turf races. The turf form really goes over to synthetic well. He's been training very fastly at Gulfstream Park. He looks like he could be the main speed. He hasn't been showing a lot of speed lately, but when he was running on dirt, he was showing some speed. So if they use the speed today, I think he'd go a long way on this track. 9-2, let's use him. I also think the 1 horse has a strong chance. Crypto Cash, Kenneth McPeak trains this one. He hasn't been seen since the end of November. They came at Churchill on the lawn in a mile 16th allowance race. First time facing winners. He won by a neck, and it looked like he was coming late. He got there in the nick of time. That was a very good run. Before that, he won at Ellis in late August very nicely. It took him a few starts to break main, but when he did it impressively. He doesn't win by a lot. He's been training well. Let's also use him. Maybe today, if he wins, he'll win by more than a head. Maybe he'll win by a quarter of a length or a half a length. But to recount my selection now for the 8th from Turfway to Rushaway, let's take the 4 horse Uncork the Bottle as a top selection. We'll go 4-1-8-7 in the superfecta, 4-1 in the multi-race. Let's get to the 9th race now from Race 9, it is the Kentucky Cup Classic, purse $150,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 14 horses entered, but only 12 could go. The distance of ground here of 1,800 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/8 here in the Kentucky Cup Classic. 1 mile 1/8. It's a race very rich in history. It used to be run during the old September meeting here at Turfway, but when they got rid of that, they took the race to hiatus for about 10 years or so. They brought it back about 2 years ago to this meeting, and every year it seems like it's getting better and better. It wouldn't surprise me if the runnings keep going a little bit better, if it gains back a Grade 3 in the next 3 years or so, but that's still a little ways away. But it's been getting, like I said, the horses are running are decent horses, I think. The top selection here, I'm going to go with the number 2 horse, Flying Scotsman. I'm going to go 2-10, 12-9 of the superfecta. 2-10, 12-9 super. Top selection 2 horse, Flying Scotsman. 4-year-old Ridgeling by English Channel. Jack Sisterson trains one. Rafael Bejarano, who's moving his tack to Kentucky, back to Kentucky, makes the mounts. The horse is most recent out again 29th of February at Gulfstream Park. 1 mile in the Grade 3 Canadian turf. He finished 12th by 23.25 lengths and had nothing late. From a wide poster, he left from the outside. He stalked early on, but then he just couldn't keep the momentum late. He hit the wall. Today he has a better posture, and he's coming here second off the break. I think he could slide to the front end a lot better today, and I think he'll get a lot better run than he did at Gulfstream. 2 back, he ran the wood chipper at the Fairgrounds Mile on the 20th of December. He finished second by a half length, but the winner, keep in mind, Tracksmith, was actually disqualified after the race, so this horse was giving first purse money. But that day, this horse stalked all the way around the race course. He looked like he was going to get in front of Tracksmith late, late, but Tracksmith had something better on him. But he still ran a terrific race there. And then before then, the Saratoga Derby at Saratoga, mile 3/16 on the Melon. He finished ninth by 8 1/4 lengths. From Y Postra, he stalked, but was very wide, and that, caused him to not get the victory late. And then before that, the American Derby at Arlington, a mile 16th. He finished sixth by 2 1/4 lengths. Didn't really show a lot from Y Postra. His last few races, he's been drawn horribly, but when he's drawn well from the inside, he always runs these good races. He has the speed to win from the inside, 20-1. I'm going to take him here. I'm most definitely going to do a nice win place on him. So let's take him. And I also think you have to use the 10 horse, some like it Hop Brown on the multi-race. Ryder Ortiz finally reunites with this one, but he won the local prep race, the Lowndes race, a few weeks ago here at Turfway, winning by 3 1/4 lengths. The old Some Luck at Hop Round really just took off clear. He stalked, got the lead, very good run, 97 buyer, the best of his career. But before that, his seasonal reappearance at Gulfstream, he ran horribly, beating nobody home. Before then, the Bluegrass last year, he finished fourth. He just couldn't keep the momentum late, but I've seen a lot worse races for his dirt debut. And then before that, he won the Jeff Ruby Stakes very nicely last year, and won the John Battaglia very nicely last year. 2-1 back to the home racetrack where he likes running. Like I said, use him on the multi-race. He can win on paper also. But to recount my selection now for the ninth from Turfway, it's the Kentucky Cup Classic. Let's take the 2 horse Flying Scotsman to upset here. We'll go 2-10, 12-9 in the superfecta, and we'll go 2-10 in the multi-race. Let's get to the co-feature 10th race from the 10th race from Turfway. It's the Bourbonette Oaks, purse $150,000, race for 3-year-old fillies. 13 horses are entered, but only 12 could go one lap around the Turfway main track, which is 1,600 meters in circumference, or 1 mile on the poly track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile, main track. Here in the Bourbonette Oaks. The top selection here, I'm going to go with the 7 horse Impeccable Style. I'm going to go 7-3-5-9 in the superfecta. 7-3-5-9 super. Top selection, 7 horse Impeccable Style. This 3-year-old filly by Uncle Mo. Kenneth McPeak trains. Corey Lannery gets the mounts. The horse's most recent outing came the 15th of February at Fairgrounds. Mile 16th in the Grade 2 Rachel Alexandra, and she finished 5th by 8 3/4 lengths there. And she basically sat mid-pack most race and had nothing. First off the long refreshing, she needed the race. Stepping down in class here, second off the break, I think she'll run a lot better. Before that, she ran a main special weight 89,000 at Churchill, 7 furlongs in the end of September. She won by 2 1/4 lengths there, and she stalked early on. When she got the lead in the stretch run, she took off clear, winning easily, 65 buyer. That was a very good run there against some decent horses. And then before that, 1st September at Saratoga, 7 furlongs, main special weight 90,000. Finished 4th by 5 3/4 lengths. She didn't have the best of beginnings that day. She's a little bit wide. She had a little bit of erratic stretch run. She got caught late. It wasn't her day to win, but I think she needed the race for experience there. With every single race, other than last time out, she really improved with every run. She's been training well at here and at Gulfstream. 4-1, I'm going to give her a shot. I also think the 3 horse has a chance. Queen of Gold. Mike Maker trains this 3-year-old filly by Painter. They took the horse to the turf most recently in the Mrs. Poseidon Starter Stakes at Gulfstream, going the mile trip, where she won by a neck. She stepped back early. When she got the lead, she fought a good race to the finish and got the neck down. Good run. Before that, though, in the optional 50 at Gulfstream, mile 16th on the lawn, she finished 4th by 2 1/4 lengths. She set the pace. She got caught in the stretch run. What can you do? She just went a little bit too fast there, in that small field of horses also. And then before then, the Ginger Brew, facing 2 tough horses. She didn't break all that well, and basically, go watch the replay. She lost all chances at the beginning. When she's close to the front end and she could slow it down, I think she could win 9-2. Let's also use her on the multi-race. But to recount my selection now for the 10th from Turfway, it's the Bourbonette Oaks. Let's take the 7 horse Impeccable Style. We'll go 7-3-5-9 in the superfecta, 7-3 in the multi-race. Let's get to the featured 11th race now from Turf. Race number 11 from Turfway, it's the Jeff Ruby Stakes. Grade 3, purse $250,000, race for 3-year-olds here. We have 12 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or the 1 mile and 1/8 trip here on the Turfway poly track. 1,800 meters, 1 mile and 1/8, main track. And this will be the final Spiral Jeff Ruby's Lane at Stakes GalleryFurniture.com race under the old grandstand here at Turfway. In a few weeks' time, this grandstand's going to be demolished and made into a casino. So let's go out with a good race here. The top selection here in the Spiral Jeff Ruby Stakes, Lane's End, whatever you want to call it, GalleryFurniture.com Stakes. Top selection here, I'm going to go with the 6 horse Halo again. I'll go 6-11-12-5 in the superfecta, 6-11-12-5 12-5 Super. Top selection 6 horse Halo again. The Strio Colt by Spice Town. Steve Espenson trains. Rafael Hernandez comes in for the mounts. The horse's most recent outing came the 18th of January at the Fairgrounds, mile 16th in the Grade 3 LeCompton. He finished 8th by 10 3/4 lengths and really had nothing. Was wide throughout and didn't really move a lot. It wasn't the day to win, but I think coming back to the all-weather with this horse, he's won a decent race in the past. I think he'll do a lot better. This horse is an Ontario bred, so it wouldn't surprise me to see this horse run in the Queen's Plate or in the Canadian Triple Crown in a few months' time. But before that, he ran before the LeCompton, ran the Coronation Futurity at Woodbine on the 23rd November. On the Tapeta, the horse won by a head, and he stalked early on. He got the lead. He looked like he was going to hit the wall, but he fought back late. He ran a terrific race there. Good run around 2 turns, first time facing winners, and then before that in the main special weight at Churchill, 7 furlongs, October 27th, he won by 4.5 lengths. He sat back early, a little bit of bumper cars around the far turn, but he took off clear in the final quarter. It was a very good run there. He had a subpar race in LeCompton a few weeks ago, but I think coming here, lesser quality horses will get a better trip here. At each one, I think he has a logical chance to win. Wouldn't surprise me, like I said, if you see this horse in the Queen's Plate. And future wagers, I would put a few bucks on him for that Queen's Plate. But let's take him here. The 11 horse Invader, I think you also have to use for Wesley Ward. He won the John Battaglia a few weeks ago very easily on the front and winning by 6.5 lengths, 81 buyer. Before then, early December in the main special weight here at Turfway, the horse won by 12.5. Again, easily just, it took the competition easily on the front end from a very wide poster also, which is not ideal here at Turfway, especially with that quick run to the with the mile start here, but he took off clear. It took him a few times to break the maiden, but he always ran these good races. At 3-1, you also have to use him on the multi-race. And I think the 12-horse Spiel Pass you also have to use. His only subpar race came on dirt, but his turf races have been decent. 7-2, use him on the multi-race. I think it's a wide-open Spiral or Jeff Ruby Stakes this year. But to recap my selection now for the 11th round turf weights, the Grade 3 Jeff Ruby Stakes. Let's take the 6-horse Halo again. We'll go 6, 11, 12, 5 in the superfecta, 6, 11, 12 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.